you very much.
Thank you very much. Good evening, the MD and every other person in the hall. It is a pleasure for us to be here, and I have just one assignment this moment to speak to us on time management. Time is very, very essential. And at the end of this little presentation, you discover that your time is your time. It's not my time. But like as an employee that is working with an organization, you need to manage your time before you can be useful in the system. The organization where I work for, where I earn my salary, I always tell my staff, I'm a chief executive, but I tell them, I work for the organization and I work for myself. So I don't only work for the organization because at the end of the day, I will leave the organization someday. But what have I gotten out of the system? So the interactions, the delivery that I've made will now be there after me. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So time. So as you are here, your time first. You have to learn to manage your time effectively. And then you become useful for the system. In the next few minutes, I'll be running through the slides. The time, like I said, I'll try to define time, try to look at time management. Why do we need to manage time? What happens when our time is not managed? Then what happens when our time is managed and then the influence on an organization like ours? Yeah. Time is an irreplaceable asset, and time is more valuable than money. It's more valuable than money. In fact, there is no way money can quantify time. Money cannot quantify time. And I give you an instance. I work in an organization, so I know how much my staff earns every month. Now, the money that they earn every month is not commensurate with the kind of work they are doing. Because some people will not do anything and at the end of the month they collect money. And some people will work and collect lesser amount of money. So, but your time still remains your time. So it's more valuable than money. And especially in today's fast-paced and overly competitive business world, we really need to be very careful how we spend our time. When you wake up in the morning at times, before you realize what is happening, is 9 a.m., 12 noon, 6 p.m., and the day is gone. Time is perishable. It's perishable. It's irreplaceable. I mentioned that. And cannot be saved. Can you keep rolling this, please? I don't have the, sorry. Yeah, please just, yeah, it's irreplaceable and it cannot be saved. You cannot, what you are supposed to do today, at times when you roll it on till another day, is lost forever. And time waits for no one, so the saying goes. It is universally static, irrespective of geographical location. What we are trying to say now, at the time that we are here now, of course we use universal time. In some other parts of the world, some people are just waking up. In some other parts of the world, some people are just about to sleep. But that does not change what time is. It remains the most cherished asset, yet we mismanage it. Like I said, it's more valuable than money. There are times some people don't know how to manage their time. The least of all staff, the cleaner in an office, in an organization, has the same time as the chief executive. We have different assignments to perform, but everybody is important. So your time is very, very personal to you. And it is what you do with your time as an employee that will rub on the organization. And I think it's good that we're starting with this. It is very possible to get more money, but it is impossible to get more time at your disposal because everyone has equal, I've mentioned that, equal 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Of course, as you begin to have more responsibilities, you discover that you spend lesser time to sleep. Some of us don't sleep until after 12. 1, 2. Like last night, as at 2 o'clock, I was still awake. 2 a.m. But then, it's not all the time. At times, you have to get more time from the night hours when people are sleeping. But of course, some people may want to say, this is just office work. Office closed by, what time do you close in your office? 5. Yeah, yes, 5. But I want to tell you that by the time you realize today, when you close by 5, at times, you still get home, you continue with work. And I was coming down here, I work with Federal Ministry of Science and Tech. And I was coming on my way down to this place, and I still spoke with one of my staff. Scanned some documents and sent to me, and of course, he has to do that. He will not say, sir, this is weekend. It's still part of his work. So, you have to just realize everybody has the same time, and the excuse that I don't have time should not be there. That is what we want to, one of the problems we want to solve today. Therefore, it is very pertinent that the workforce spend their time where it matters most to their employer. Like, you know your objectives, what you are doing here, you spend that time. Yeah, maybe it's 8 to 5. But I want to tell you that 8 to 5 may not be enough for what you are supposed to do. And you may still need to take more time from the extra time that you think is your own time, in as much as you are carrying the label of that company. And this is because you want to bring productivity to the organization. Next slide, please. I want to stick to the slide so that I don't spend more time than I should spend. Time in an organization is an intangible factor of production that cannot be reclaimed once lost. Like I said, it's irreplaceable and it's perishable. One factor that can affect employees' performance and output in the workplace is effective time management. It's effective time management. Some employees don't know how to manage time. When you give them assignments, they cannot do it within the appropriate time because they have other distractions. You're going to see that. But if you learn how to manage your time, you'll be more effective. We'll get to that. I don't want to skip it. Effective time management will not only make employees to be efficient, but also make them to meet deadlines and targets with ease. Next slide, please. And when you do this, the head of your department, the head of your units, and whatever, we take delight in you. And when it's time for you to get recommendation, you get it easily. Even your clients, you may find favor from them. Not when somebody will say, let's meet by 8 a.m. You are still struggling to meet all by 10 a.m. It's not good. And time management is the key to individual high-level performance in organizations. It's very, very essential. Now, effective time management does not only affect the productivity of employees, but also helps them to cope with stress, conflicts, and pressure more efficiently. There are a lot of pressure nowadays. The situation in Nigeria is not funny, and you want to meet up with certain expectations here and there. Like what we are going to see, and you need to identify those pressures. We'll look at this very soon when we talk of time management. But you still have limited time. So your ability to cope with the stress and all this within the time available to you will stand you out. Some employees, when they come to work, they look tired already by 8 a.m. because they have a lot of crises coming out. But it's not only peculiar to you. Some other people are having similar crises. You know, we walk in a place where at times you see some ladies and say, no, I just have a little baby. But some other people, some ladies, you say, we've had 2 or 3. It's so special. So, but it's ability to manage that time. That's what we are discussing here. It also supports them to maintain a healthy work-life balance and keep them motivated. This is the reason why all the employees of AIG Insurance PLC must imbibe the nitty-gritty of time management techniques. And this is what we'll be looking at. And the major objective is to be able to improve on our productivity at work. Next slide, please. Time management. This discipline refers to how we manage our schedule and organize our time for different activities at home and workplace. It's the process of planning and exercise conscious control of the time spent on specific activities to enable us to work smarter and harder. To work smarter and harder, to have results and yet without failure. And in this case, we'll be able to juggle various things that help us to increase efficiency and achieve better work-life balance while being mindful of time. There are many factors. Next slide, please. There are 3 cores in which people spend their time: thoughts, conversations, and actions. Thoughts, we think, conversation, in this case, we engage other people, and for our action, we execute our thoughts and conversation. Now, where do we spend most time? Is it in our thoughts, in our conversation, or in our action? Next, just a click. It's good to engage in positive thoughts and also in constructive conversation, but it's always good for us to carry out specific activities. I don't know whether it's where I put that thought is cheap. It said that show me your work. You want to get something done, then you do it. It's not just in thought. The way that employees manage their time with each of these 3 calls will depend on how successful they are in business and how productive they will be at their workplaces. In other words, your thoughts must be translated to action. The fact is that nobody sees what is on inside of you. This is the way I think this organization should move forward, but you can put it into action within your own executable limits. You are given an assignment, you do it in a very fantastic way, and you get it delivered at the right time. Effective time management for productivity is a set of principles, practices, and skills that work together to help organizations. And time management helps staff to be proactive and dynamic while prioritizing their duties. By making out lists of tasks to be attended to daily, weekly, and monthly till the target is reached. We're going to be looking at various techniques. And what I mean by this is that there are a lot of things to be done. You need to get to your office, you want to clear your table, you want to attend to an instruction from a senior officer, you want to reach out to a client, you want to solve a particular problem in the office, or it's your turn to make a call to somebody. It's always good to have this documented. And your ability to be able to carry out all of this will make a lot of difference. We'll be sharing some, about 7 points, 7 different techniques, and there we'll emphasize all of this. Improving time management at work will enhance staff performance. I don't think to overflow this, and it will help them to achieve desired goals with less effort and more effective strategies. Next slide, please. Yeah, there are a lot of techniques, and you may come across them as you probably study on your own. But here, we're going to look at 7 different time management techniques that can help us to achieve success and huge productivity at the workplace like this. Next slide, please. A clip, okay. When time is managed, we'll be able to accomplish all activities in an organized manner. Like I mentioned earlier on, you have in your mind a lot of things you want to achieve in the office. These are in your brain, not anywhere. But nobody is going to assess your performance based on what is in your mind. It is what we see. That's why I put that word there, that talk is cheap. The statement, talk is cheap, show me your work. So it is very important. Many people confuse activities with accomplishments. People want results. An organization like this will want results. We want you to perform, irrespective of the certificates, irrespective of where you are coming from, irrespective of how you got into the system. What we want to see is your results. And next slide, please. All right. There are 7 best time management techniques to improve the ways that people work, and also to control distractions and to lock concentration on work and schedules. What we mean, please, the first slide. There are a lot of distractions, and this generation is the most distracted generation of all. The most distracted generation of all. And we're going to come to that. And then when you manage your time effectively, you'll be able to concentrate on your work and the schedules that are being given to you to deliver. Next slide, please. The first one is to plan your day in advance. Planning is the first. It's often said that when you fail to plan, then you have planned to fail. So, and it's the most proven of all time management techniques. So it helps to properly organize your work. Secondly, it gives you a detailed insight into all the things that you need to do to achieve results. If you plan your daily activity weekly or monthly task, the rest comes easily. At the end of the day, you'll be able to tick what you have done and what you have not been able to do. There are many ways to plan and organize your work. This can be done through fancy calendars and personal organizers. There are fancy calendars that you can get. Nowadays, you can even Google, you can download. There are some calendars in those days that, and they're available online now, where you have for January, you have a whole page, and you have those days coming 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 31, and they come with kinds of rectangular stuff. And you can print this. You can list what you need to do January 1, January 2, or what you need to do in the office. An ordinary sheet of paper or jotter. You list all this. That's the to-do list, what you need to do. If something just comes to your mind, you put it down. Time management apps also helps, and tools. We have these smartphones with us. If you go to your calendar, on that calendar, you can set up a lot of things there. You want to write a letter, you want to call somebody, you want to reach out to somebody, it will give you, it will alert you when the time comes. You can set them, you can even set time. And then there are a lot of tools online too. You also have post-it notes. There are some sticky notes you can put on your laptops. How many people do that here already? Okay, thank you. No, let me see your hands. Don't bring down those hands. So please, watch out. Look at those hands. So that next time you see their laptops. Thank you. Please do that. Thank you. It's good. You can stick notes on your laptops at the edges. You can just do that, to do this, to do that. And when you do with that task, you remove it, you put another one. Different color. And your laptops will just look beautiful on the surface. You like that? Good. Post-it notes is not because you are dull. It's not because your brain. So this is what my MD said I should do. Please, make sure I don't forget. You tell your wife, you tell your husband, you tell your friends. Remind me when it's 8 a.m., please, or this. And the person will call you, are you in the office? You say, I should remind you of this. That's what friends are meant for, you know. So, drawing up a to-do list might not seem like a groundbreaking technique. Somebody may think that it's not something, but actually it can be very helpful. You may do your list not necessarily in order of preference, but as you begin to pick, I think that takes us to the next one, next slide. You begin to now prioritize your actions. You may have many things to do in a day. You list all of those things. For example, when you have a task that you want to do for your immediate boss, and you have that of the MD, which one is more important? You need to attend to a client, and the time is very crucial. It's 9 a.m. You need to sort that out. So you list all this. That is part of time management. And to say the least, many employees start their day with unimportant tasks or something that can be easily done later. There are some organizations, you don't go in for the best part of the day with your cell phones, smartphones. So, even today I practice that. There are some times I don't pick calls. When I'm doing some tasks, like I did something this afternoon, I didn't pick some calls. It's my time. If somebody blames you for not picking your call, then you just smile. Because it's not the person that is buying credit on that phone for you. Your time is your time. The person has his own job and you have your own job. So, but some of us don't know how to prioritize our activities. It is said by Mark Twain that if it is your job to hit a frog, it is better to do it first thing in the morning. You do it first thing in the morning, and if it is your job to eat 2 frogs, it is better to eat the biggest one first. So that you will know that, yes, I've taken this, and this going. So actually, you deploy your energy to that task that is more important. Every task has its own level of priority. So you need to identify that. And prioritization is your most effective defense against the lure of urgent yet inconsequential tasks. And it is necessary to do the most important task first. When you are done, switch to those less pertinent ones. Nobody will blame you, but you need to organize your schedule. This is what this will do for you. You prioritize your task. Next, please. Okay. It will help you better organize the workflow and you will become efficient. It's as simple as that. You'll be able to know what is right and what is not right. You discover that nowadays, of course, like I've mentioned the use of jotter, it is very important. You have magnet. Some people have magnetic brain, no problem. But when we see the output, we know who is delivering. I have somebody in the organization who was given a position as head of admin. You tell him to do 3 things, he will not do anything. But when you have discussion with him and you give him a memo to write, he will write another thing entirely. And I've watched that guy for about 2 years. He will not jot anything. I'm not blaming him. I checked his file. He made third class. But that is not the reason why he should be so careless. I removed him. I put another person in his office. And that means that he lost the instrument of that office. Because he was going to slow me down in my delivery. I don't know if you are getting my point. You list things. You prioritize your activity. Because your organization, like this meeting, your organization wants to have better delivery. They want to make the job to be very easy for everybody. And they want you to be relevant. That's why this training is going on. Focus and block distractions. You have to have focus. You have to block distractions, part of the time management. Now, there are a lot of distractions that can make employees not to be productive at work. This includes notification on phones, pop-up messages on computer systems, several emails, colleagues constantly talking, gisting with one another. When you look at all of this, this constantly pull your attention away from work. Phone, email, those things were not there like 30 years ago. So that's why this generation is the most distracted. All forms of social media, news popping up, breaking news. In those days, we read stale news. News of yesterday is what we will read today. But now read news as it is happening now. And so we have distraction. So in offices too, this come. But you need to have a focus. Even in the midst of all this, you just need to balance it. You need to have to be disciplined with respect to your phone. You need to. Social media, you see a staff, a mid-career somebody, I don't know the levels here. It will be on Instagram, on Facebook, which one? WhatsApp, Snapchat, and you still want to be relevant. What? Twitter. Twitter, everywhere. It's quite difficult. There's time for everything, you know. There's time for everything. But you want to see what is trending. You want to see this and that. And I like the statement made by someone. He said, people that make news don't have time to watch the news. So if you want to make news, you have to be very careful. It's either you are a news watcher or you are a newsmaker. That's it. He said, that's the way it happens. Even when people that make news, you know, when the thing happens to you, people will be calling you that they saw your news. You yourself, you have not even seen the news. So, a lot of distractions. Phone call. Your boss is talking to you, you are picking calls. It's mismanagement of time. You have a difficult assignment, you are trying to make up a report, you are receiving 10 phone calls, distractions, giving you bad news and frustrating you in the office, translating emotion from somewhere to you, you know. So you have to just know how to block all distractions. And do you know that most of these distractions that come on phone when you are in the office, they don't come to help you. They are the people that need your service. I don't know if I'm making a point. And this is where you are getting that money to service them. If you are married, your wife, your husband, they should respect the fact that you are in the office. I tell people, if you call me once, twice, and you don't pick your call, send me SMS. Or WhatsApp. When I have time, I will reply you. Because I'm so mindful that I need to deliver. I have limited time to do many things. And if you don't take care in the night, you will discover that you have pile up work there, you'll be sleeping by 3 a.m., 4 a.m. At times you don't sleep, then the following morning you dress up and go to work. So please, I've spent time on this distraction because it is very, very important. Little assignments given to you, finish it, tidy it up. Distractions, avoid it, like gisting in the office as well, unnecessary gisting. There are many ways to stay focused at work. You can put your phone away, you can turn off social media notifications, or block distracting websites. You may, as a matter of principle, my birthday was 2nd of April. That was the last time I checked my Facebook account to appreciate all the people that greeted me. I did that in the night to thank them. And now I've received more than 900 notifications via my email, and I've still not checked the account. But I don't have that time. Facebook is not paying my salary. It's A&G, insurance, that is paying you your salary. But I know you have checked, you have updated your Facebook today, some of you here. Don't mind me. But actually, if you give yourself to a cause, you will benefit from it. The mistake most employees make is they think that they are only working for the system. They don't know that they're working for themselves. As I'm working for my organization, I also work for myself. And I'm glad I have staff that are following my trend, I'm telling you. I have staff that are following my trend, and I have staff, of course, many, 80% of them will go the other way. No problem. So I just hope somebody is benefiting from what you're sharing. So block all forms of distractions. Once you have identified the source of distraction, then you can set controls in place. So you decide when to let notifications in. Now, the best way is to concentrate and do what you have to do. So you have to have a focus. You have to set the targets. There is nothing, you see, some people, most people, if you watch it, most people that are living on social media, they are not professionals like you. You can turn social media to do your own business, of course, and you follow it through. But some other people, they have some other interest in that social media, and that is what some people are doing, and they are following them, and to you that are following them, it becomes distraction. For them, it's a business. So it is worth it to limit your presence on social media to the minimum, because it takes a lot of your time and doesn't bring much value into your life. It's not good, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Set goals. Setting goals helps individuals to know exactly which direction is heading to. Goals are part of the organizational process, and they are extremely important in time management. You can set goals. It can be long-term, it can be short-term goals. It can just be daily goals. By the end of today, this is what I want to achieve. I want to contact these clients, I want to do this, I want to close these files, I want to attend to this, or I want to see how we can improve our office. Just set goals. So I want to make our office to be more comfortable, or just set goals, and then you go for it. So you take advantage of any time management techniques. The key to specificity is setting of goals. If you don't have goals, at the end of the day, you go nowhere. You just find out that you are just the same person that is just sleeping as you wake in the morning. It helps in breaking down bigger visions into monthly targets to hit. As I said, you have some long-term goals, you have some short-term goals, and goal setting helps in focusing on the objectives to be realized. And it's very good when you have these goals, then you take a step at a time to achieve the goals. Next slide, please. I know we have this, so that's our mind is to just emphasize some of these things. And allocate your time to each task. And in the allocation of time, place you need to understand the weights of each task and see the level of importance of each task, and that determines the time that you spend on it. So that you don't waste time on tasks that are trivial. So when you allocate time to each task, you'll be able to achieve great things. That, when you prioritize, what will I do? For example, a daily task. What can I do between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m.? Between 9 and this, even if you don't finish that day, you carry it over to the next day. And then you'll be able to assess yourself that, look, I've done something that I think is reasonably good today. So if you know how much of your time you allocate to task, project, and different activities, you'll be able to better organize your workday and workflow. Then you will feel the pressure of responsibility that, look, I've not done this. If you are to do 10 things and you have done only 2, as at 3 p.m., you feel the weight that, look, I've not been able to achieve everything. Maybe I can still do more before 5 or 5 p.m. If you end up doing 4 in a day, okay, tomorrow you resume again with that excitement. But if you don't have this kind of mentality and this kind of approach, you just relax. At the end of the week, you just do 2 out of 10. So the simplest way to do it also is to use time tracking software, which you can get online. But at the same time, like I said, you can use this calendar. You can set alarm. 8 a.m. starts this. 9 a.m. start. The alarm will ring. 8 a.m. starts doing this and do it. I do it a lot. And simple thing in the house, you can set alarm for that. Whatever thing you need to do, what you need to pack, what you don't want to forget tomorrow, I need to take my credentials to the office. And you normally leave the house by 6 a.m. So by 5, the alarm will ring, and you look at its credentials, you remember. You can even have your phone to speak to you. It will tell you. Some people here can do that for you. Your phone will remind you, it's time to take your credentials. Okay. So you take advantage of technology. So it will help you to predict future estimates and better allocate your time as well. Next slide, please. Proper communication channel. This is very, very important too. In time management, you need to learn how to communicate. It saves a lot of time at work. If you don't convey your plans, intentions, or requirements clearly, people won't understand their task or yours. So, as someone that has people under him, you communicate. Or under her, you communicate what you want. But if you don't do that, you repeat yourself over and over again. And what I discovered, lock yourself in, and you walk, and that other guy that refused to do the work will take tea. We'll be taking tea while you will be there sweating. So you need to communicate very well. And as you are communicating, you find a means by which you are assessing the person you are communicating with. And this will reduce conflicts and misunderstanding in any organization. Also, do not forget to use special tools and apps to enhance communication between you and your team and other co-workers. Now, these things are better for us too as well. In as much as we live in the era that we are the most distracted generation, you can do a little WhatsApp network for your team of 10, team of 5, team of 3, where you can share information, and this helps everyone. But you also have, if you use WhatsApp, you have to empower people, you have to encourage people to always turn on their data. Not when you send information, somebody will read it 2 hours after. So this makes it to be easy for us, faster, and it's more convenient to transfer messages. Next slide, please. Be structured. So you have to time block your work. The other time we said we should identify the task, then we should also time block it so that you have a time frame for whatever you want to do. You have to have a structured schedule And this is very, very crucial. What happens to most people at times is that they do many things at a time. And when you have multiple jobs at a time, you need to structure them in a way. That is why we talk of prioritizing. We talk of you ordering the tasks that you have. If you want to do 2, 3 things at a single time, you may not get it done. It's step by step. It may appear to be moving slowly, but at the end of the day, you discover that you have rolled away all the tasks one after the other. It gives me joy when I have many things to do and I list them, like I follow all these methods, and I take them one by one with all the pressure on my head, and at the end, I complete them. Like I told you, there are distractions. You have to learn to synthesize all these things. I think this is the 7th one, or something happened again. Okay. Yeah, that's the 7th one. So now, so I will talk about the next slide, please. Let's click it here. So the time management helps in achieving individual and organizational goals in view of the limited amount of time available to everyone. Time is not elastic. Everybody has equal time. And according to this Sandy 2020, there are some benefits that are listed, and I read them out now. Delivery of work on time, provision of a better quality of work, more productivity and efficiency, much less procrastination, less stress and anxiety, improved quality of life. You yourself, you feel happy with yourself, and you are not more under stress. More opportunities and career growth, because somebody will see your performance and will give you more tasks. And when it's time to reward, you get better rewarded. Or when it's time to recommend somebody for a task that will have more fame, they will recommend you. More time for leisure and recreation. You have time to relax, and when you are relaxing, you know you are relaxing so well. Time management is very, very good. And when you fail to manage your time, there can be some negative results. And these are listed also as missed deadlines and appointments, procrastinations and lack of focus, lack of professionalism, inefficient workflow and low work quality, unwanted stress, poor professional reputation, as well as strained workplace relationships. Because I tell you, no boss will like somebody who is not productive. No matter how you are related to that boss. Nobody wants that. Staff productivity, that's the last one. That is with respect to staff productivity. Time management is very vital, and it increases staff productivity. Because it will enable the organization as a whole to meet up with deadline or time frame for tasks or targets given to each employee of the team. It also helps in managing staff workload efficiently and also enhance productivity. The employer is not just after employees' punctuality to work alone, but also the quality of work that is done. If you come to work by 8 a.m. and you are not productive, then it's not good for the system. Now, if members of staff cannot manage their time well and prioritize vital activities, this will have negative effects on the organization and the products of the organization as well. So staff as a whole needs to control and manage their time so that their ability to focus on achieving organizational targets can improve. And this is what we have been discussing here. You work on yourself first before you get useful to the system, or you become more useful to the system. And so in conclusion, really, some people struggle to manage their time while others are champion at it. No matter the case, it's good that for you to know that you can actually master your time, because your time is your time, it's not my time. And what your employer wants is your time. It's what your employer pay for. Your employer actually pay for your time before your skill. So they want you to bring your skill within that time that is available to you. And this is what you should know. Time can be tricky, and so it is important to know how to fit your work and daily activities into it. Today we have looked at the definition of time. We have looked at time management. We have looked at the benefits of time management. And we have also seen what happens when you don't manage your time. And we've been able to look at various time management techniques. And I want to believe that this will help to improve our productivity in this organization. I think I'm going to stop here. Thank you very much.
Professor said, honestly, if I were to be you, luckily you said in your former place.
Yes.
If I were to be you, honestly, I will find a way of telling the HR that there's no process here. If there's process here, the FD cannot leave your superior, your line manager, and pass an assignment to you. That's the way I look at it. There's supposed to be a process. You're supposed to have a line manager whom you are responsible to. Then your line manager is responsible to maybe another level, and so on and so forth. Well, you said in your former place.
Thank you very much, sir. It's because he mentioned that it's in his former place. And actually, I know what he's talking about. And it happens, I'm a chief executive, sir. I gave head of a division, I gave him an assignment to respond to a letter. And I told him that I would have given this assignment to a junior officer. But that officer actually was very busy. So I gave that guy assignments. And the guy, after giving him the assignment, he assured me he was going to do it. And he has many officers under him. Then he traveled within the country. And then the next thing was, the other junior officer that I wanted to give that assignment to now called my attention. I gave her an assignment, and she said, sir, there's another assignment that somebody just gave me. It's still a civil service. I wouldn't say don't do it. I said, okay, don't worry. Now I called that other officer. I said, I need this work done within the next few minutes. Because by then, this other person has told me that she has told that guy that it will take some days. So that guy was forced to do it. And he confessed to me. He said, sir, the job was delayed because I've given it to this other person to do. I didn't blame him because he will learn. So it happens in some places. Even when there is a procedure at the top, some staff do some things like that. But it's always good to let somebody that is in the system know. That's what, and they say somebody in the system, like the HR, because at times, if you report to HR, you may get fired. You may get fired too. But you can tell your head of unit or head of department that this is the situation. But that is because, like in this place, what we are finding in this place, that kind of stuff cannot happen. You know, yeah.
So thank you for the presentation. It was a wonderful one. I have a question on the 7 best time management techniques. You made mention of prioritizing your time, your tasks. So you said you don't need to answer some calls when you have a lot of tasks ahead of you. You have got some calls. Now, when the calls they are coming from customers, important customers that want to give you business, and you have a lot of tasks ahead of you, how do you manage both?
Now you said important customers. It's still left for you to decide. You know, this is part of your job schedule. These calls are not coming from people that want to borrow money from you. They are not coming from people that want to give you business outside the original business, your primary business. So you pick the calls. I don't know if you're getting my point. So you need to identify the calls that you pick in a workplace. Or even when you're at home and you are working on an important document, an idea is flowing in your brain and somebody is calling you to gist, or somebody is trying to tell you that this is what happened in the village or somewhere else. You know, I know people, you understood me, right? You are flowing with me. So there are some calls, there are some messages you don't even respond to. That's not the time to start chatting. You know, you don't use your precious time to chat. When there are certain things you are doing, you just don't have that time. I don't know if I'm communicating. Yeah, so that's what, this is your business, you respond to clients, you pick their calls. There are things, there's a way you can set up some things on your phone. If you have a call, if you don't want to, you can just click. There are some automated messages. Please, sir, we're in the midst of something. If you don't mind, I'll call you back later. Or if you don't, I'll call you back later, you leave a message for me. With due respect, sir or ma. How you do that? I do that too. I do that. Okay.
And I well researched. In fact, it was very timely, and we did not give you this topic, but the topic is very timely and very apt at this time. Now, when you are doing your introductory message on that paper, you said time is perishable.
Yes.
I was shivering there. Now, why is time perishable? Time is intangible. Time is not something we can touch. Why is he perishable?
Yes,
So that is my serious concern.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Time is perishable. Time is not so redeemable. When you lose a time, you don't get that time. Yesterday is gone. Today is almost over. That's what we mean. And we're all transients. We have the beginning, we're going to have end at different times. And the assignment that you're supposed to do yesterday, if you don't do that assignment yesterday, you do it, that yesterday is gone, you repeat it, you carry it over. The assignment will still follow you. But you have lost that time. That time that you spend to gist, quarreling with somebody on phone for 30 minutes, when you're supposed to do the work of A&G insurance, it's gone. That time, after quarreling with that person, you will now need to sit down and do that work. You know, so that time, that's what we mean by it, is perishable. That is, it's gone. We cannot redeem it like that. You know.
I need to understand that meeting is part of the time stealers. Which I even have experience from my previous organization. Sometimes the meeting could be the one that have been scheduled, area scheduled. Some might not even be area scheduled. All of a sudden now they can call you to come and attend meeting, even when you did not even have a knowledge that the meeting will go. So in such a situation, how do we manage the time?
That is when you have an impromptu meeting.
Impromptu meeting is happening.
Well, it's still all on time, but yeah, like you said, you said happens in your previous workplace. It happens in your previous workplace, not here. And you don't bring that into this place, because I don't know your position here. Impromptu meeting is not always good. But some individuals are good at that. I was working we were doing some meeting with some people, and I was made to lead the organization, and one man was interested in us holding a meeting to resolve an issue. And I told him that we have fixed a meeting for about 4 days time to that was going to take place in about 4 days time. And the man said, no, this is very important. the meeting should be tomorrow. And I told him, I don't barge into people, that the meeting remained as fixed. And this man went behind me and convinced others to agree to hold the meeting. And I was to share the meeting. And the man told me that you may not be in the meeting. So, well, whatever happened was that I nullified the outcome of that meeting because I should be in charge of the meeting. But I saw the man as a bad manager. Because as he was talking to me, he said, yes, I'm the provost here, I can command them, they will come, they will do this. I told him, that's not the best way to lead. I told him, it's not the best way to lead. I told him, before I even fix meeting, I sample opinions of my staff. Because I want them to be good leaders. So, yes, impromptu meetings can come in an office. And then your ability to adjust is part of the way you manage your time as well. Because impromptu meetings are not meant to last for a long time. And they may last also, depending on what the office wants to resolve. So when that happens, you quickly fit into the system. Then everybody in the organization will know that they are the people that take that time from you. I don't know if you are getting my point. If, for example, the head of the department has given you a task to perform and say, Mr. James, I don't know if that's your name, or that Mr. James, by 2 p.m. today we want this result. And by 12, there's an emergency meeting that involves Mr. James. And you are there until 3 p.m. The head of the department will not blame you for that task, for not coming out with that task before 2. Are you getting my point? So this is what we should also consider. But actually, impromptu meeting comes, you just adjust your schedule. That's it. Thank you.